Gaffer, this weekend, obviously, we've got an Easter Friday, Good Friday game against Coventry City. Obviously, live on Sky. I don't guess that makes much difference in terms of the fact that it's on TV, but you're looking forward to the game nonetheless?
Yeah, I think you always look forward to your next game. It's the next test, the next challenge, and it's good to be going into it off the back of a win. Finally, we arrested that slump that we've been in. Did a marginal job at Wigan in stopping the slide, but did it last weekend with a good win against Doncaster, a late win, and I think the players have learned a lot in recent months. First of all, how to deal with success. We had a great run of results and everything was going our way. And sometimes when you have a great run of results and everything's going your way, and then you have a couple of big performances, televised performances, everybody's heaping praise on you. And as young players, I guess it's easy to lose your focus. And as much as you try and manage the dangers, sometimes the dangers get away from you. And people's focus, if it's not right, soon turns into defeat. And we face defeat, and we faced consistent defeat, and then you start seeing the other side of the equation. You get the blame game coming on. It's everyone else's fault and not yours, and you get doubt surrounding you, and you get gloom around the place, and then it's a question of trying to rise and raise yourself away from that. So we've had both ends of the equation. We've had to deal with the praise, deal with the glory, deal with the despair, and find our way through both. I'm hoping that our young players will have learned a lot of lessons in both scenarios, and that they'll be a lot stronger for it. And winning last weekend will, be the confidence boost that they need to now really step on themselves and finish the season strongly.
It seems these days that you have massive highs, massive lows. There's nothing in between. You're either really, really good or really, really bad. There's no middle ground anymore, and I suppose that's the way of the world these days, that football's changed.
Well, consistency is what everybody talks about. Consistency is what everyone's looking for, and consistency is what the best people find and the rest don't. And managing those two scenarios, managing defeat well if it happens to you, being intelligent about it, being smart about it, being honest about it, and managing success well, putting a sense of perspective around success, making sure you take confidence from it, but you still spot the areas where you need to get better. You have to stay on the front foot. You have to keep moving forward by improving. If you ever rest on your laurels and start thinking that you've arrived, then you're in a very dangerous place, because there is no such thing as permanent success. I think I said to you earlier on in the week that success is never final and failure is never fatal. It's courage and work ethic that are the difference. And we need to make sure that we've got courage and work ethic instilled in what we do every day, a sense that we have to keep getting better, instilled in our ethos. And if we get to that position, then we'll be in a good place.
The home form, obviously, as with the form in general, has been disappointing of late, but I guess mitigating circumstances, some of those performances. What are you looking to see from your players in terms of the home form going into the end of the season?
I think good teams win at home, they win away. There's no difference between what you do at home and what you do away. You take your game to the opposition and put it on them and dominate the football match. And obviously there's different factors in an away ground. You have to maybe manage the tempo of the ground at times, whereas in the home ground you want your crowd to get up and you want the tempo to be high permanently and constantly. So I think at home what we know is that fans flock to watch entertaining football. Fans flock to watch a side that plays with adventure. Fans flock to see goals. And we don't play different away from how we do at home. We want to entertain the travelling fans just as much as we want to entertain the home fans. And our game never really varies in those regards, but certainly the tempo of the game, the consistency of the tempo, has to be right up there when we're playing at home, because the people come along to watch us play good football, and we need to deliver it.
You're beginning to look at the squad and think, obviously, ahead of next season, who you want and who you need to, look at getting out of the building. Is that something you're thinking about at this moment in time with these 9 games left?
Well, if anybody was to say to me, the squad that you've got, is it right to mount a really serious challenge? I think the answer to that speaks for itself. The balance has been proven in recent weeks not to be quite there. Some of that's about defensive players, midfield players, attackers, and the balance in terms of numbers. Some of that's about left side, right side, whether we've got the balance in terms of the sides of the pitch correct, and some of it's about balance in terms of age. Have we got too much youth and not enough experience? Do we need to blend some experience into the equation, just to make sure that we've got a good balance in that regard. So there's a lot of balance issues, I think, in the squad. And, overall, you'd have to say we've probably got too many members of the squad. Alex Ferguson said once, it's not my job to keep the players happy, it's their job to keep me happy. But you do, as a manager, have to keep a happy camp. And if you've got too many players and you can't give enough players a game, then I think it's very difficult to keep players happy. Not that they've got a personal issue with you, it's just that they want to be playing the game that they love. So I think we need to slim the squad down, and we need to address the balance issues I talked about just now. So there's work to be done for sure.
And obviously, this weekend is a Coventry City, a side that have sort of had a similar run in terms of the fact they were flirting with the playoff zone. They've sort of fallen away because injuries, loss of form, which is a testament to how this league's been this year.
I think any club that keeps a consistent team on the pitch gives itself a massive chance. Look at Leicester; they've been fortunate with injuries, or the absence of injuries. But I say fortunate. If I'm frank, you do earn the right to no injuries by the way in which you train. If you do enough strength work and preventative work, you can restrict the number of injuries you have. We've been unfortunate because a lot of our injuries have been contact injuries, and they're the types of injuries that are difficult to deal with. However much you want to plan and prepare and develop your players' physicality and strength, if they are caught in a contact situation, then sometimes that can get the better of you. So I think we have been unfortunate with our injuries, and if you don't get consistency in your selection, you get a lot of change. You do suffer problems. So listen, they're in a similar vein of form to the vein of form that we've been in. Tomorrow night, I'm sure that's not going to affect anybody. I'm sure tomorrow night both sides are going to approach the game with real verve, with real determination. As the home side, the onus is on us to put our foot on the gas and really raise the tempo of the game and get our football going. And I'm sure the boys will look forward to it.
Yeah, talking about fitness as a manager, you haven't really had the chance to stamp your authority on it in terms of fitness because you've not had a pre-season with the boys. Is that vital in terms of really setting what you want for the tempo of the season?
Well, I think when you get your pre-season into your players, you get the level of fitness that you want into your whole squad. And you also get to see what all your players can do in various combinations during pre-season. You get a massive opportunity to trial and error things. You learn in friendly occasions what people can and cannot do. When you're doing that during the league campaign, you're trying things out, and you think, well, maybe he could do this job, or maybe he could do that job. I wonder if that pairing will work, or that combination. And you soon learn that things that you thought might work don't work. Things that did work on the training ground don't convert into match action. So it's one about fitness, I think, of pre-season. It's two about knowing what your players can and cannot do and the combinations in which they can and cannot play. And when you get into a difficult run of results and you're trying things out that perhaps you thought might work but you realise don't, then you pay the price. But I was saying the other night at the fans forum, you've got to be brave enough sometimes to accept that when you're going through difficulties, you can easily go for sort of the easy options, the safe options, and not explore, not look at new things. But I don't think that being safe is the right way. I think you've got to be brave enough to accept that, okay, I might mess up here and I might mess up there, but I'm going to try and make people understand where I'm coming from, try and make people understand where I'm trying to get things to, trying to give young players their chance to show that they can shine. I'm going to be brave enough to do that because if I am, then I may succeed. If I'm living in my shell all the time and living in the shadow of fear, I'm not going to get anywhere. So we've been where we've been. I do think we'll start next season very strongly. I do think the squad will be shaped nicely over the summer. I do think we'll get them fit, strong, organised, and very together. And the sense I get from the fans is they're looking forward to that.
And just finally, Soleimani Koulibaly is going out on loan to Newport. Opportunity for him to get games, and I guess you've got so many strikers in the squad, and people have got the shirt at the moment.
I've got to say, Solly's been outstanding in recent weeks. He's up at Leeds last week. He was probably one of our better players. He got 2 great goals. He was constant threat, constant menace, and he's a terrific lad. I missed him even this morning on the training ground with him not being here. I just missed his presence. He's such a bubbly character, such a good lad to have around. But he needs to play football. He needs to get games. He's not been getting in the 18, and as good as he is, and as much as I love having him around, and I wouldn't think twice about putting a shirt on his back on Friday night. I really wouldn't. I'd feel quite comfortable if he was leading the line. But there's others that are ahead of him in the pecking order, and it makes sense for him and for us, for him to go and get the football matches that he needs and deserves.